You know the setup. A brilliant investigator arrives at a gruesome crime scene, studies the scattered evidence for a few moments, and instantly deduces the exact psychological profile of the unknown killer. This trope was embedded into public consciousness by the FBI's behavioral science unit, popularized by figures like John Douglas and media franchises like Mindhunter. But the practice you are watching, offender profiling, is a scientifically controversial law enforcement strategy. And more importantly, it is entirely distinct from the actual field of forensic psychology. Building a narrative of an offender using crime scene clues and investigator intuition is known as top-down profiling. Research consistently shows that relying heavily on practitioner judgment makes this method highly prone to subjective confirmation bias, and it lacks empirical accuracy for predicting real personality traits. A more rigorous alternative, known as bottom-up investigative psychology, swaps intuition for coded data and statistical linkage. Yet, even this data-driven approach is strictly a specialized investigative tool to generate police leads. Equating forensic psychology with criminal profiling misinterprets how the justice system actually uses behavioral science. To find real forensic psychologists, we have to stop looking at the crime scene and start looking at the courtroom. To understand the difference, we need to draw strict boundaries between these disciplines. Criminal psychology is the broad academic study of why people commit crimes, analyzing social environments, motives, and behavioral patterns. Criminal investigative analysis, or profiling, is a law enforcement tool that borrows from that research. It is used specifically to predict the traits of an unknown offender to generate police leads. Forensic psychology operates in a different space. It is the application of psychological science to assist in legal, contractual, and administrative matters. Here is the critical dividing line. Profilers hunt for the unknown. Forensic psychologists evaluate subjects who have already been identified. Take the Unabomber investigation. Behavioral and linguistic analysis helped investigators narrow their focus towards someone with a specific education and writing style. But that profile did not prove Ted Kaczynski's identity in a court of law. It only pointed detectives toward the physical evidence that did. Forensic psychology functions as a rigorous scientific discipline used to evaluate known individuals once they are already entangled in the legal system. That entanglement happens across a vast, complex ecosystem of civil, family, and criminal courts, where psychology directly intersects with the legal process. In criminal law, a forensic psychologist evaluates issues like competency to stand trial. The U.S. Supreme Court requires that a defendant possess a rational understanding of the proceedings against them before a prosecution can move forward. They also evaluate issues completely devoid of criminal activity. In civil and family law, forensic psychologists verify mental disability claims, assess personal injury lawsuits, and evaluate child custody arrangements. Their work extends directly into the correctional system. Correctional psychologists provide psychological assessments and direct clinical treatments to incarcerated individuals to reduce recidivism and improve public safety. This document highlights historical benchmarks. In 1918, the New Jersey Department of Corrections established the first inmate classification system. By 1924, states like Wisconsin evolved these frameworks into comprehensive psychological evaluations for all prison admissions. Forensic psychology works as an extensive matrix of applications, ensuring that the entire legal system accounts for the complexities of the human mind. The stakes in these evaluations are immense. Advising a court on terminating parental rights or determining if someone requires lifelong institutionalization demands rigorous clinical training and strict legal knowledge. Because of these stakes, the field maintains unique ethical boundaries. A psychologist cannot ethically serve as both a person's private treating therapist and their objective forensic evaluator for the court. The two roles demand entirely different allegiances. When serving as an expert witness, a forensic psychologist must translate complex clinical findings into clear, defensible testimony that holds up under hostile cross-examination. To survive that scrutiny, their conclusions are built on direct clinical interviews, standardized psychometric testing, and exhaustive reviews of collateral legal records. They do not rely on crime scene intuition. Yet, despite gathering all this data, forensic psychologists do not decide guilt, innocence, or legal outcomes. Their sole purpose is to provide objective data to assist the judge or jury in making the final decision. Evaluating a civil competency claim lacks the flashy drama of hunting a serial killer on television, but providing the justice system with scientific accuracy and fairness is a far more critical and impactful reality.